petition. We don't want to delay the police because we have seen that they have also not eaten this morning, and you can easily see the fatigue on their faces. And so I'd like to restrict myself to reading our key demands, and then we will hand over to you the petition. The media can have copies of our petition, whether electronic or hard copy, so that it can save all of us from spending any more time here. Our demands. Considering the grave irregularities and discrepancies uncovered in the 2024 Provisional Voter Register and the Electoral Commission's admission of unauthorized voter transfers and errors, the National Democratic Congress, in the spirit of safeguarding Ghana's democratic process for free, fair, transparent, and peaceful elections on December 7, 2024, respectfully petition the Electoral Commission to do the following. Number one, permit an independent forensic audit of the voter register and the Commission's IT systems, which we suspect have been seriously compromised. Because we have seen actions, they have sworn by the gods of Ghana to us that those actions can never happen behind our backs. But they themselves have attested to the fact that those very actions have taken place through manipulation of their system. So we want to mend the roof first before we clean the verandas of any spill of rainwater. Number two, we demand that the Commission convene stakeholders for collaboration. The Electoral Commission should urgently convene a meeting with all political parties, civil society organizations, and key international stakeholders, including ECOWAS, who are fond of deploying only military when there is crisis. We want them to come and help us take preemptive actions against crisis that is brewing. It takes money, time, and effort. Africa Union, UNDP, European Union, and USAID, the British High Commission, and others, to discuss the forensic audit and ensure collective oversight of our electoral process. We demand that the Electoral Commission will agree to publish the findings of any such forensic audit and make them public and available to ensure transparency, accountability, fairness, and integrity of the 2024 general elections. If the findings of the forensic audit suggest, as we believe, that the register has been badly compromised, then we demand that there will be a re-exhibition of the register after the forensic audit, so that we will be able to check everything that has gone wrong in the register and prepare ourselves for a credible election.
Those questions on my mind. Why?
We want the Commission to review and correct all the unauthorized transfers which they themselves have admitted to. We want them to adopt a revised timetable for electoral activities. Why do we do so? We don't have and other activities are based on a credible voter register. So we think that this forensic audit must take place. We must get a credible register acceptable to all stakeholders before the other activities such as printing of ballot papers commences. We want the Commission to institute accountability and integrity measures to ensure that what we are witnessing now will never happen. Systems. It is in your interest that we all look for it. Correct.
You to
the media, you can face them.
So he can block.
Yes. Don't worry, don't worry.
Thank you very much, and let me welcome you to the corporate head office of the Commission. On behalf of the Commission, I will receive your petition, and I will assure you that your petition will be presented to the Commission for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. For the avoidance of doubt,
Your name?
we have presented 16 other copies of this petition to your regional directors across the country. If we don't see action, the next time we are going to present 276 copies at each of the district offices of the Commission. So, gentlemen, I want you to know the commissioner who is receiving the petition on our behalf. Your name? It is his office that deals actually with the elections. Thank you very much. We hope that you will make your own work easier by ensuring that you live by your motto of transparency and integrity. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman. Mike.
Yeah, so the presentation of the petition is done now. The leadership of the NDC, after presenting the petition, will now be moving towards the crowd. So the chairman of the party, Johnson, is here in Ketia, addressing it shortly.
What we will do the 2 ways. Let's do this, then we'll move here. We can do this. Then I think.
Choboy! Choboy! So where are our people?
Who are we addressing? The crowd is here.
Then let's go, Chris. Let's go. Nobody is saying
Okay, so the NDC will be moving to another location right now. It's moving to another location to address the crowd. So they are getting closer to the crowd. Whose microphone is this? The crowd, like I mentioned earlier,
making his way back to...
have been kept at bay by the sheer number of police officers, all in crowd control gear, here are the Electoral Commission officers. They have been successful with that.
When the feed will be here, so the car should come forward. So you be here, Let me move the car forward.
You're still live on Joy News. The national chairman of the NDC, Johnson, is here in Ketiogia, addressing party supporters shortly. You are unable to see the party sympathizers. It's just personnel of the media. Is that a journalist reporting on this? It's only the journalists you can see now. The party sympathizers, party faithfuls have been kept at bay. They are the other side. Behind the police barricades. And the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson, is here in Ketia, wants to get closer to them to address them.
Let's go out. We are finished. We are going out.
Saying that let's go out. They finished. Wait till Omar wants to go out to address the party supporters.
Just stand and wait.
Please allow us to now leave. You want to imprison us?
They come.
Address them from behind the barricade. So you can see he's making his way outside now. It's really difficult going through these barricades. 3 layers of security, and you can hear the police officers urging the people to become.
Thank you.
You can hear Director of Legal for the NDC, Eduji Kujo Tamakulu, thanking the police.
Thank you.
Hello, Eduji.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Eduji is a member of the NDC, Director of Legal for the NDC. Okay, he's thanking the police.
Together.
Hello, Eduji.
Yes,
welcome to join us. You're live
Thank
on
you.
News. I heard you thanking the police.
Yes, I need to thank the Ghana police for a yeoman's job. They have done extremely well. They have demonstrated that we are partners in this fight. Without the police, we cannot protect this democracy. And that's exactly what they have done. And I want to salute them for a yeoman's job, for their professionalism. It's been from Obrasport to this place, and it has been extremely peaceful. And you know, we were clear in our minds that we wanted a peaceful demonstration so we can send our message across. We did not want a situation where our message would in any way be drowned by any incident. And that's exactly what we have done. So we were committed to peace. In any case, the NDC midwifed the 1992 Constitution and will do everything in our power to ensure that we protect this 1992 Constitution. And that is why we are making the call, the demand for the audit. Look, I say this. If you are holding your fist this way, and somebody says that you have stolen his money, and the money is in your hands, how do you show that you've not stolen the money? By opening your arm. Open your palm. Open your palm. Madam Jane Mensah, open your system up. Look, Kenya in 2022, when they opened their system up, KPMG audited the Kenyan system. And you know what they found? That unauthorized persons were accessing the Electoral Commission IT system. Unauthorized people. Maybe, Madam Jane Mensah, you are not aware. As for if you are aware, that complicity is different thing. But this one, we are only pleading with Madam Jane Mensah, her commissioners, that they must listen to the call for an audit. The audit, in fact, if you look at the Electoral Commission's motto, it is transparency, fairness, and integrity. What more transparent thing can you have? than this.
And I think the question that'll keep bouncing back, journalists will keep asking, would be what's going to be the next step? After the presentation of the petition, you're going to give, giving them some days?
No, the next step is going to be
the forensic audit.
The next step is going to be
if that has not happened, what happens?
It will happen. It will happen. I have no doubt.
You're optimistic that it's going to happen?
It will happen. It will happen. Look, the Germansa of IEA in 2015 October was asking the then Commissioner Charlotte Osei to do an audit. We want the Germansa of IEA, not the Akufo-Addo corrupted Germansa.
Director of for the NDC. Now let's get closer to the chairman of the party, who is going to address party faithfuls, going to address party sympathizers. I had an electoral commission.
Right, so this is continuous coverage of the NDC Enough is Enough demonstration against the Electoral Commission. Their demand is one, that the EC undertake an audit of the voters' register. And since morning, they've been demonstrating across the country, the climax of which we are about to witness here in Accra. They've already presented a petition to the Speaker of Parliament, and they've done same with the Electoral Commission with the hope that the EC will address the concerns that they have raised in their petition. Across the country, they held similar demonstrations and presented similar petition to the Office of the Electoral Commission. Now, what we're waiting for is a final address to be delivered by the National Chair of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, and our climax today's demonstration. They are saying that if their demands are not met, if the demands they have tabled in the petition are not met, they will come back and demonstrate. What they are demanding is that the EC, avail itself for some kind of an audit of the voters' register. They claim that there are over 240,000 illegal names on the voters' roll, and they are of the firm belief that unless an audit is conducted and remove the 240,000 votes, they will have issues with the integrity of the voters' register. The reason why they've been on the streets since morning demonstrating and demanding this very important thing done. The EC, over the period, maintained that they've done all that the NDC had asked, in that they have undertaken their own cleaning of the voters' register, and for that reason, there's nothing more to be done. The MPP appears to side with the decision taken by the Electoral Commission, and they've also insisted that the voters' register is credible enough to be the benchmark for the organization of the 2024 general elections in December. The NDC holds a different view, and even though they've made several, overtures, the Electoral Commission, for this to be done, they did not get that and decided to resort to demonstrations. So this morning, they poured onto the streets of Ghana in all the 16 regional capitals, and this afternoon they are marching away from the Electoral Commission's office, and then they will be addressed by the National Chair of the party, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, to give an idea what the party will do going forward if the petition they presented to the Electoral Commission and the Speaker of Parliament and the content of that petitions, if the content is not met, what exactly they will do. That's what we are waiting to hear from Johnson Asiedu-Nketia. My colleague, Masol Agbagba, is with the demonstrators. Will also be taking you to the other parts of the country. The Ashanti region witnessed some ugly scenes when the demonstrator clashed with the police, resulting in the destruction of some property belonging to the Electoral Commission. Now, the NDC claimed that somebody had been shot. The police, they've issued a statement saying that nothing of that nature happened and nobody was shot. So these are developing stories that is coming out of this demonstration. The climax, we are all waiting to hear the national chairman speak to the party's followers, and that will bring to an end today's Enough is Enough demonstration. So we'll be taking you across the country. Let me properly welcome you to the pulse here on Joy News. Your comments are welcome. We are live on Facebook, we are live on X, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on myjoyonline.com. This afternoon, our focus is on the NDC Enough is Enough demonstration. We'll be speaking to party leaders, we'll be speaking to our correspondents, we'll also be speaking to the MPP, even though they've maintained their position that they will not back this call. There are some people who are of the view that the EC should open their books, they have nothing to fear. That's perhaps the NDC's call. The EC says that they have dealt with all the concerns raised by the NDC when they invited the party to an IPAC meeting at the EC headquarters, and even demanded that certain evidence that the NDC claimed they had should be presented to them. They did not get it. And they are of the firm view that the electoral roll is credible enough for the conduct of the 2024 general elections. The NDC holds a different view. The reason why this afternoon or this morning they embarked on that demonstration, which is virtually coming to an end very soon with that address that we are all expecting from the national chair of the NDC. Now, before we hear Johnson Asiedu Nketia address the crowd and then tell us the way forward, let me take you live to the Ashanti Regional Capital, Nana Boachi Yadom, who covered the Ashanti Regional version of the demonstration, and he joins me via Zoom. So, Nana, we witnessed some ugly scenes at the EC's regional office, at the Regional Coordinating Council. Walk us through what led to the destruction that we witnessed.
Elton, during the start of the protest, you realized that it was a peaceful one when the demonstrators led by the regional executives and the national organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin, they walked through the principal streets of Kumasi. We realized that it was so peaceful up until they got to the Regional Coordinating Council. I must say that when they got to the regional EC head office, that is when everything started. Now, there was an attempt by one individual, one man, to walk into the regional EC office, which we are being told is a security zone. And so the police were only protecting the place for the executives to have access to the regional EC premises in itself, so they could present their petition to the regional EC boss. Well, some supporters or sympathizers of the NDC decided to walk inside or break the barrier of the police so that they can also join their executives in presenting their petition to the regional EC boss. There was an attempt by the police to resist these individuals from making their way into the regional EC premises, which they say it's a security zone. But then one person refused. He broke the barricade and walked straight into the EC premises. He got arrested for doing that, and some supporters also joined him. They tried to resist the arrest by the Ghana Police Service, which also the police subsequently refused. And so out of that scene, the police arrested 3 individuals, and some people also sustained major. Told that 3 individuals were arrested, some 4 persons sustained some injuries, and they've been sent to the Kofanochi Teaching Hospital, with 1 police officer who also sustained an injury, who is also receiving treatment at the moment.
But Banana, what was the agreement before the protest? Where were they going to terminate it, and how were they going to present the petition to the regional boss of the EC?
Well, in their engagement with the Ghana Police Service, the Ashanti Regional Command, the police directed that they use the regional secretariat, that's the regional office of the NDC, at the converging point. They walk through Amekom. From Amekom, they use the Asapo stretch. They pass through Asapo, and then they use the road behind the Asida House, move to the KMA stretch. From KMA, they use the Lancaster stretch. From Lancaster, they can use the Ahojo stretch, and then subsequently use the Dakojom Road, the State Experimental School. You realize that road would also lead you to the regional EC office. Right. So that was the route that was the direction given by the Ghana Police Service. But then there was a change of plan by the NDC, we realized that they use their Macomb stretch, use their Sapo stretch, and use also the Adum stretch, manage their way to KMA, but then branched to Lancaster, and that Lancaster road would lead you to the Regional Coordinating Council.
Right.
In fact, the main entrance of the RCC. That is what the police wanted to resist. That's why they earlier gave them the directive to use the Ahojo stretch. While they refused to move through the Ahojo stretch, they used the RCC road, and that is what led to this chaos. The protesters initially wanted to walk into the Regional Coordinating Council. That was the first attempt that they made, which was heavily resisted by the Ghana Police Service. Then they made their way to use the same road to the Regional EC office. And when they were being told to stop, they broke the barricade, went inside, destroyed the gates of the Regional EC boss, and also gave some people, the regional chairman who said that he suffered some blows and some slaps from some policemen. And so realized that it was, they did not really comply or go by the directive given by the Ghana Police Service, which in a way led to this scene.
But I know that the Ashanti Regional Office of the Electoral Commission is just behind the main block that houses the regional minister's office. So if the agreement was that they were not going to access the Regional Coordinating Council before getting to the EC office, what route were they going to use if they had been prevented from using the Regional Coordinating Council as the main point to access the EC office, because it's just behind the main office that the regional minister uses as his official office?
Yes, Elton, you're right. You realize that the Regional Coordinating Council, the office of the regional minister, is just behind the EC office. They share the same wall, I must say. That is why earlier the police gave them the directive to use Ahojo. You realize that if you use the Ahojo stretch, you can use Dakojum. When you get to Dakojum, where we have Rich Condos Hotel, the Rich Condos apartment, you can use that road, State Experimental, walk through that particular stretch, and then get to the EC's office, that particular junction, and you'd make an easy curve to the Regional EC office,
right,
without having access to the Regional Coordinating Council. That particular stretch makes it easy for you to have access directly to the Regional EC office. But it was resisted. They did not go by that. That is why they also used the Lancaster stretch. When you use the Lancaster stretch, Elton, that is how come you appear right in front of the Regional Coordinating Council. But if you use the Ahojo stretch, move through Dakojum, move through State Experimental, you get to the EC junction and then make an easy curve to the office of the Electoral Commission.
And from your own independent monitoring of the exercise, did you witness any shootout by the police?
Well, we had gunshots, but so far the police have come out to say that there were no gunshots. We spoke to the national organizer, Joseph Yamin, who said that there were gunshots and some supporters have experienced or suffered injuries. I heard shots, but then they have come out to say that there was no gunshots. I did hear some shots, and I was even trying to hide myself from suffering any form of injury. But then the police have also come out to say that there were no shots whatsoever. But then it was tear gas. Well, but we can say that I can say I had gunshots or whatsoever.
And the persons who've been taken to the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, what led to their injuries?
Well, the supporters of the NDC, we are being told that when the police were trying to resist them or refuse them entry into the premises of the EC, there was a major clash. Some of them tried fighting the policemen, and the policemen also retaliated. That led to some injuries. They are also saying, per interactions with some supporters who were there, they tell us that some of their supporters suffered gunshots, and that is why they have to rush them to the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. But also, a police officer did also suffer an injury. So she's also sent to the hospital, I'm told.
So as you speak, 3 people have been arrested by the police?
3 people have been arrested by the Ghana Police Service.
All right. Thank you very much, Nana Boachi. And we'll come back to you if there is any development on this matter. To also try to establish the NDC's narrative, because the police insists there was no gun. No gun was fired. And for that reason, they are dismissing the NDC's claim that gun was fired, resulting in the injury to one of their supporters. Now, let me take you to the northern regional capital, Tamale, where Martina Bugri joins me. So, Martina, I'm guessing that it's also over in the northern regional capital, Tamale?
Exactly so. The northern region, it ended peacefully. They presented their petition to the EC director. Now, what they did was that they barricaded a portion of the road so that the protesters can wait whilst the leadership walk into the arena that they had designated for them to hand over the petition to the EC director. The Northern Regional Secretary and the Northern Regional Chairman were the two people who presented the petition to the EC director. That was after 3 hours of walking through the streets of Tamale and converging around the Ghana Water Company to present the petition. We spoke to the chairman and the secretary. For the chairman, he says that the NPP presidential candidate was fraudulently elected because a court of competence, that's the Tamale High Court, had annulled the Wali Wali elections. And those who voted at the Wali Wali election were part of those who voted the presidential candidate. So that makes him also a fraudulently elected presidential candidate. He says that is what the EC wants to do to get him into power, and they would resist it. He says Northern Region, they have evidence that people had illegally been transferred, and these are some of the things that they want nullified or addressed now before they go into the 2024 elections. For the regional secretary, he says Ghana's EC is not different from any other EC in any country. So why is it that others have allowed themselves to be scrutinized and this particular EC is resistant? It says they would continue to protest, even if it will mean visiting their homes to present these petitions, they would do. So
Kumasi witnessed some ugly scenes. I don't know if for Tamale, everything went according to plan.
Tamale, they ended peacefully, but at the converging ground where they handed over the petition, some people started pelting bottles and stones, but the leadership was prompt. They were able to get them to stop it, and that didn't destroy any or the beauty that had gone through the protest from the beginning to the end. They burned some tires along the road, but that didn't create any scene at all.
But apart from the regional chair and the secretary, I mean, I know the NDC controls the parliamentary seats in the region. Did you also see the MPs participate in the demonstration? Yes, I am the Tamale South MP and my former minority leader was there. We are told that there was some a program in Accra, and most of them could not come in this morning because of the heavy downpour that truncated. It delayed some flights, we are told, into the region, and so most of them could not return to participate in the protest. But he was around, and he went through. He actually addressed the crowd before they presented the petition to the EC. Right. Thank you so much for your time. Martina Bugri is our Northern Regional correspondent, saying that everything went according to plan in the Northern Regional capital terminal. But what is the situation in the Upper East region? Albert Sorry joins me. Albert, so you are home and dry. Everything went well?
Yes, Elton. So just as Martina reported, in the Upper East region, we had very similar scene. The demonstration started shortly before 10 o'clock. Usually when we have demonstration capital of the country, they go usually a bit short, because sometimes the weather is not very favorable. Fortunately for them, there was rain last night, so today the weather was good. And because of that, the demonstrators, numbering their thousands, took a very long and they marched to the principal streets of Volta to the regional office of the EC, where they presented the petition to the officials there. We didn't record any major incident. But just as Martina reported, when they were converging at the office of the regional office of the EC, they decided the police had blocked the gate and decided that nobody was going to the premises. Apparently, this had already been communicated to the leadership of the party,
right,
that they were not going to be allowed into the premises of the Electoral Commission, but they would do the presentation of their petition in front of the main gate of the Electoral Commission. But it appears some of the supporters didn't know this, and they were pushing to get to the premises. And that led to a bit of pushing, shoving here and there between those supporters and the police. But eventually they were able to get the situation under control, and they did the presentation of the petition. Now, here in the Upper East region, most of the members of parliament were present. For instance, Dr. Clement Apak was there. He is the MP for Volta South, and he was there together with the MP for Tifani, the MP for Nabdam, Dr. Ket Nawani was also there. We had the parliamentary candidate for this, and a host of other popular figures from the Upper East region who are members of the NDC, who took turns to address the party supporters, telling them why this demonstration was necessary and the fact that they are doing this because they want to protect the ballot of the ordinary voter.
But is there anything peculiar to the Upper East region that the demonstrators want the Electoral Commission to address? Are there key issues that they pointed out in their petition that is solely restricted to the region?
None that I have noticed at the moment. They basically spoke generally and echoing the voice of, what is being said at the national level, basically. So they were speaking generically or generally as far as their views and the views of the party on this particular matter is concerned.
All right, thank you so much, Albert. Sorry, it's Upper East Regional Correspondent. He also covered the demonstration in the Upper East Regional Capital, Tanga, and according to him, everything went peacefully until they got to the EC office, and some of the members wanted to force their way into the main premises, and that resulted in some pushback. Natalia Kwanzaa covered the demonstration in the Western region. So, Ina, you managed to work with them?
Yes, I did, Elton.
And how did it go?
It was great. And it was very peaceful, right from the Takrade Mall through to Efie, Kuma, Fijai, and then they used the Sekondi Road to the EC's office in Sekondi, just behind the Regional Coordinating Council. This demonstration was led by members of parliament within the Western region and parliamentary candidates, aspirants, and then the regional executives of the NDC here in the Western region. Through it all, it was peaceful. The message was just straightforward. They need transparency, fairness before the December polls. The minority deputy leader, Emmanuel Amakofibua, for instance, when he spoke when they reached the crescendo, that was the EC office, he said that they know that the EC and the New Patriotic Party are in bed, and so they are just speaking one language of the Ghanaian, which is transparency and fair election. If their petition is not heard, they may have to, find their own way of getting their petition being heard. Apart from that, the process was peaceful here in the region.
And then what happened when they got to the point where they presented the petition to the Electoral Commission officers? We've heard from Kumasi, we've heard about the skirmishes, we've heard same in the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale, and of course at Bogatanga, where some members forced their way into the premises of the Electoral Commission, which was against the earlier agreement they had with the party. Did you witness same in the Western region?
Not at all. I must say that the police were up to their game, and so before they could even get to the EC, they had already about 10 to 20 men would already form something like a queue. I mean, the policemen, they had 4 or 5 of this. And so before you could even pass the first police queue, you would have to get to another queue. And so even for the media, you would have to, let them know that, yes, you're a media person before you can get closer to where the petition was going to be delivered. And so there was nothing like that. It was thoroughly peaceful throughout this demonstration in the Western region.
And is there anything peculiar to the region that they highlighted, or just the generic statement that, we heard in Accra?
It's just generic. There was nothing peculiar to the region. All
right. Natalia Kwanzaa is our Western regional correspondent, and she followed the demonstrated in the Western regional capital, Takoradi, where they also presented a petition to the Electoral Commission regional office. So what is the situation in the Bono regional capital? Sunyane Precious Semevo also marched on with the NDC folks. Precious, you're welcome. Is Sunyane peaceful after the walk?
Yes, Raymond, Sunyane largely has been peaceful.
What is Elton here?
Oh, Elton. Yeah, my Sunyane mayor. The exercise has been largely peaceful. It started around 10, a bit of delay there, but that is because they had to wait for some of the party members to join from far and near, as far as Banda, Wenchi, Tyne, and Doma, and Crown Quanta, and all those areas. So organizers had to give their fans a bit of time to arrive and troop in. But when we go to the party secretariat around 8 a.m., you could see that the organizers were ready. Everything was set.
Yes, Precious. Right, so there appears to be connection issues with Precious Semevo from the Bono regional capital, Sunyane, where he also covered the NDC demonstration. Is Precious back on? Right, so Precious, I know that Sunyane itself has 2 parliamentary seats, Sunyane East and Sunyane West, all occupied by the governing MPP. So how will you describe the participation today as far as the NDC is concerned? Right, so Precious cannot hear me. We'll rectify that connection issue and bring him back on. But this is what we've managed to put together in terms of the NDC's demand for some kind of an audit of the electoral register. And they are asking that the Electoral Commission provide timelines for corrections in the register. They are also demanding that there should be a conduct of a forensic audit of the voters' register. And that has been their call since day one when they started this agitation against the Electoral Commission, which culminated in the demonstration today. They are also demanding that the Electoral Commission undertake a second exhibition of the voters' register so that all anomalies can be corrected. These are some of the demands of the NDC today. They are also demanding continuous correction of mistakes in the voters' register. They are also demanding that illegal voter transfer is addressed, and where necessary, make it open for everyone to see what has happened regarding what they describe as illegal voter transfers. They also demand that the EC system is made robust so that external infiltration can be dealt with. They are of the firm belief that public confidence in the Electoral Commission and, of course, in the voter register is waning because of what they describe as, credibility issues that they've identified with the voters register. The reason why they pour onto the streets today to demand action from the Electoral Commission, because the EC had made it clear that there's nothing wrong with the voters register, and you go ahead and use it as the main tool for the conduct of the 2024 elections in December. So these are some of the demands of the Electoral Commission. Let me see if I can bring Precious back on. Precious, is it possible to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, so
Elton.
So I asked earlier, I know that Sunyane has 2 seats, Sunyane East and Sunyane West, and all seats occupied by the MPP. So I'm wondering the level of participation you saw before and during the demonstration.
Yes, the level was quite encouraging, although organizers will admit that the number that they expected from outside the region, they couldn't, get all. And today also being a working day, these days people have their plans in mind, and some of these activities they will tell you does not really influence what they will do or their decision on the election day, as much as they support the demonstration. But they would want to use their time to take care of bread and butter issues. But the numbers, as you can see on the screen, were encouraging, very, very encouraging. But Elton, some specifics that they mentioned, they made mention of issues in Banda, issues in town.
Right, so you spoke about Banda and Tyne. What exactly are the issues with Banda and Tyne?
Yes, it has to do with the transfer of votes from one polling center to the other, and also from German North to Tyne without the knowledge of the individual voters. They made the allegation that someone collected these ID cards from these unsuspecting voters under the pretext of providing them with free registration for.
Well, it looks like the connection is still an issue here with Precious Semebo in the Bono regional capital, Sunya. Precious, I can't hear you. We'll work on this and bring you back on. So let me take you now to, we'll fix the challenge with Precious. But before we do that, the NDC's electoral World Bank is a Volta region, and Ivy was there for joining. So Ivy, how did it go?
It was peaceful and it was okay as well. What the people, that's the NDC and their followers are asking for, especially when the media spoke with Ablakwa, was that the AC chair should be able to be truthful and do the right thing, because if that doesn't happen, they will continue doing what they are supposed to do until there is an independent investigation about what they are asking for. They want the right thing to be done because, according to him, it was done in 2016. And so why must it not be done now? So they are asking for the right thing to be done by the EC, especially the chair. So the demonstration went well. The chairman for the NDC, Mauto Agbavita, also spoke, saying that they will not stop until the chair of the EC does the right thing. They will continue until she is able to do the right thing. What they are asking for her to do is to be truthful and make sure that the right thing is done. So there were lots of people who came out in their numbers, not only the NDC members. And mind you, people from all the districts in the Volta region joined at the regional capital in Ho to participate in this demonstration. Not only the NDC members, but other people who are sympathizers of the NDC also joined in this demonstration. It was really huge. And according to them, with all the speakers, Honorable Ablakwa, the regional chairman, Notukotui, and other people, what they are asking the EC chair to do, according to them, is for her to be truthful to Ghanaians and do the right thing, do what they are asking them to do for peace to prevail. So that was it.
But I'm curious to know whether the Volta region, are there issues that is relatable to the Volta region that perhaps they brought forth?
Some of them, some of the people we spoke to off camera claimed that they were able to, there were some issues of registration that they don't know where it was coming from. According to also the chairman, that there was some kind of transfers. They don't know where the transfer were coming from, and they don't know where it's going to. And they also want that to be looked at critically before they continue what they are doing. And so for now, some of them are not specific, but the transfer, they are also concentrating on the transfer as to where it is coming from and where it is going to. They don't know. So these are some of the things they want the EC chair to look at critically.
All right, Ivy, thank you so much. And of course, we spoke to a lot of them before the start of the demonstration. During the demonstration, we'll bring you those sound bites as they make the point forcefully that something ought to be done with the voters register. Before we bring you all those sound bites, before and during the demonstration, let me take you to the Central Regional Capital. Eric Asante is our man on the ground. Eric, so I mean, the demonstration is over. I suspect, is there something relatable to the region that came up during this, few hours of demonstration on the streets of Cape Coast? Right, so Eric, if we can unmute for me so we can hear you. Well, I don't seem to have his attention. Remember, we're also keeping an eye on the climax of the Accra demonstration. The national chair of the party, we expect to address a news conference pretty soon so that he will announce to the nation what next if the demands they are asking of the EC, if the demand is not met, what would the NDC do next? We'll hear from the national chair very soon. Let me see if I can get Eric's attention now. So Eric, right, so we still don't have Eric on the line. This is a pause. We've got some slides regarding the NDC's demands that they are making of the Electoral Commission. Earlier, I spoke about some of the things that they want. Now they continue to say that from their own analysis based on their scrutiny of the exhibition of the voters register, they identified 243,540 transfers that were done illegally, and they want clarity on this matter. They are also saying that 15,000 plus unidentifiable voter transfers have potential issues with fake registration. They don't know how this happened, and they want the issue to explain and also clarify some of these things. They are also saying that there are some 3,957 voters in the 2023 register deleted from the 2024 provisional register due to transfer, and they want answers and some clarity on this matter as well. Again, more figures they are churning out. 2,094 voters transferred to different polling stations but not listed in the absent voter list as required by law. And the EC has acknowledged 3 mistakes so far, and according to Boss Manasari, the deputy chair, they've actually rectified these mistakes, and they hope that the NDC will continue to dialogue with them instead of the action they took this morning. And so that's the response the Electoral Commission gave the NDC. Again, the issues about inaccurate voter registration figures, 40 voter registration machines, errors in transfer voters. These are the many things that NDC claim that if identified discrepancies remain unresolved. That's according to the NDC. The EC involved key officers at all levels to ensure all registered voters are listed. Repeated requests to the NDC for copies of the so-called discrepancies remain unresolved. That's according to the Electoral Commission. So those are the response the Electoral Commission gave ahead of the NDC decision to go on a demonstration. So we spoke to some of them before they embarked on that demonstration. Listen to the justification they provided before hitting the streets of Accra and across the country.
It's enough. I mean, we're fed up. The Electoral Commission is becoming a threat to our democracy. The commissioners at the Electoral Commission are behaving in a very recalcitrant manner. They are threats to the peace and stability of this country. We've enjoyed this Fourth Republic, and we are going to demand that the Electoral Commissioner and her colleagues, the co-chairpersons, commissioners, do what is right. We're not asking for too much. You cannot have a credible, free and fair election without a credible register. All we are asking for is a credible register. How is the EC opposed to us having a credible register? If the EC wants to conduct free, fair elections, why are you opposed to us having a credible register? The EC is going to start printing the register on the 23rd. So how are we stampeding? The EC is proceeding to print the register in less than 10 days. days from now. You can't conduct the elections with a flawed register. Then that election is flawed. So what you need to do is not rush to have a flawed election that will destroy the peace of this country. You take your time. And you see, it points to the incompetence of the Electoral Commission. If the NDC had not done our audit, the Electoral Commission passed off the register as fit for purpose. Now the Electoral Commission admits that the issues the NDC have raised are real. They claim they are fixing it. But the point is, if you were competent in the first place, you wouldn't have had such fundamental errors with the register. So there is no rush to go and print a flawed register. When we've been asking for this audit for 2 weeks now, in the 2 weeks, if we had done the audit, we could still meet the deadline. The problem we have is the arrogance, the incompetent arrogance, and the sheer willingness to collude with the governing NPP to rig the elections.
All right, so that was the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, Sam George, making the point before the demonstration got underway this morning. Rafik Salam also covered the events in the Upper West Regional Capital, WA, and he joins me via phone. So, Rafik, I hope everything went well. Nothing bad to report?
Nothing bad to report, Elton. It's nothing untoward. A report. It was a peaceful demonstration here, right in the Upper West Regional Capital, where it started at the forecourt of the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, where they moved into the principal street in what, namely the JJ Rawlings Street. From there, they moved into the Central Business District of WA, and then before they headed to EC's office. But in between these places, from the police station and up to the main traffic light, there were a series of interviews and also speeches from the various leaders of the party, talking about the various parliamentary candidates in the Upper West region. They took turns to address the crowd and talking about the anomalies, the discrepancies, and also the infractions that is on the register, who they want the JMSA EC-led administration please to do a forensic audit on that. And so there was massive crowds here, slew of party supporters clad in red and then also black were here, and then they moved straight to the Electoral Commission. At the Electoral Commission, there was a petition which was read by the leader of the Upper West Parliamentary Caucus in the person of Dr. Rashid Hassan Pelefo, and then afterwards, the chairman of the party, the regional chairman, Abdul Nasser Sani, popular known as Chairman Bunas, presented a petition to the EC's director here in the person of Ali Osmanu Adamu.
All right, thank you so much, Rafik Salam, for that update from the Upper West Regional Capital. Meanwhile, a group, a body calling itself Frimpong Manso Institute, is calling for calm amid the growing tension. Now, let's speak to Dr. Emmanuel Deitumi, fellow of the Frimpong Manso Institute, who joins us via Zoom for a quick reaction. So, Dr. Tumi, you're welcome. The NDC embarked on the demonstration today. They are done with it. They are making same demand that there should be an audit of the voters' register. You are calling for calm. The NDC says that there will be no calm unless there is an audit that satisfies all interest groups ahead of the elections. Is this something that you welcome?
Well, thank you, Elton, and let me say hello to all the viewers. I think, Joy, you're doing an incredible work, and we need to commend you for that. Now, Elton, I think there's one fundamental thing that we all need to understand, that democracy can only succeed in Africa when there is transparency. Now, to get transparency also implies that every actor in the system or in the process needs to be transparent to themselves. There is nothing wrong with what the NDC is doing fundamentally, because they are actually practicing their fundamental human rights. Now, the question is what then needs to be done? And I think in our country, Ghana, there are institutions that can help to ensure that these processes are adequately addressed. And so my recommendation, which I believe is the position of the Institute, is that all the actors, the Peace Council, the civil society, all the religious institutions, all of that, how can we galvanize some sort of unity between the EC, the inter-party advisory committee that we already have in existence to address this particular matter? Because you see, the issue is this. If we don't address this matter, and again, you cannot have an election with a register which is not credible. So the question is, what can we do to ensure that all the actors within the political system are comfortable with the electoral registrar that is going to be used? So yes, the Institute is advocating for some sort of dialogue, and let's ensure that these demonstrations, I'm happy that apart from Kumasi so far, we have not recorded any major incident, which is something that is commendable. But yes, people need to demonstrate to enhance their political rights and all of that. But in doing so, let's bear in mind that the fundamental interest of the country, respect for human rights, respect for individual property and all of that, is so critical. So to the extent that these things can be addressed to ensure the transparency and peaceful process for the election, I think that the Institute is very much in support of that. But from your own analysis, is there really something in there that must be addressed? Well, from where we sit, bear in mind a lot of discussions have been going on at the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, which the Institute is not part of. And so we don't have so much information with regard to the sanctity or the credibility of the registrar as is being raised by the opposition. The question is, look, if two parties or multiple parties are going into election, this role as the referee has to be transparent. And that is what we are advocating here, that in all of these things, let all the actors in the process have the interest of the country, the oneness of the country at heart. And once we have it at the back of our mind, we go into any kind of negotiation, any kind of discussion with openness, and to accept that whether we are at fault or not, so that together dialogue will prevail for us to achieve the common interest that all of us are looking for. If we don't do that, then we're going to have a problem. Let's understand that, if we do the election, and then at the end of the day, there's no peace, there's nothing that is going to be done. So even if it means that the Electoral Commission has to look at this in detail so that all parties are comfortable, let's do that. Look, take for example Kenya. I think the previous election that they did, Kenya spent almost $1 billion. After that, what happened? The whole election had to be cancelled. They went to court and all that. We don't want to go into that trajectory. So what I'm saying is that, and which is the position of the Institute, let's have peace. Let's ensure that the election that is coming up is so peaceful, and every actor within the process is comfortable. And to do so, transparency is key. And I think that, as I mentioned earlier, Elton, we have institutions in Ghana that can facilitate a credible negotiation, and all political parties, the NDC and the MPP in particular, have to be open-minded and say, look, in the interest of the country, we are going into this negotiation with some sort of openness, right? So that people, the Electoral Commission will say, listen, like already they've accepted 3 of their mistakes. I don't know how they came by that, but let's agree that they should take a critical look at the complaints or the grievances that has been advanced by the NDC and see how much they can address them. The NDC, on the other hand, must be willing not to take an entrenched position. So if the Electoral Commission says, look, we've addressed your issues, this is what we have come up with, now take it and look at it, they should also approach that from a position of transparency. But at the end of the day, we are hearing from the Electoral Commission, and they say that there's actually nothing there to be addressed. And so... But that's what I'm saying. That is why we are advocating that the Electoral Commission, yes, if there's nothing more to be addressed, it all goes back to negotiation. Let's go back to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. Let's bring in the Peace Council. Let's bring the civil society. So the discussion should not be left to the political parties alone. See, at the end of the day, if you have people who do not have, direct interest in the outcome of this election, by way of the active participants in terms of the election, political parties, but you have the Peace Council, you have the religious societies and all of that coming in to also authenticate the position of the Electoral Commission after they have reviewed all the grievances and say, listen, this is what we have come up with. I think that should be credible enough for all the parties to accept it. It cannot be that, you know, like marriage, where one party says that this is my position and it doesn't matter what the other position is, I'm disregarding it. No, in that sense, we are not going to have peaceful election. But that is not what we are talking about.
But Doctor, we are going into an election, the two major political parties. One is saying that I don't trust the voters register. The other says that I am absolutely confident with the voters register. Is this the same scenario where the opposition used these two to bastardize the Electoral Commission, whether it is doing well, whether it, whatever the circumstances is, so long as they are in opposition, they have to use every available means to bastardize the Electoral Commission, because these are two major political parties.
Well, okay, fortunately, this is not the first election we are experiencing under the 1992 Constitution. Now, strategically, I see what is happening today as very strategic for the NDC, for example. Look, you cannot have a political party as big as NDC need to test their popularity in times like this. So one of the things that you can look at from the strategic point of view is that this demonstration has afforded them the opportunity to test their readiness in terms of organization, as far as, you know, party rallies and stuff like that are concerned, which is good. And then again, it's an expression of their fundamental human right, which again is a plus. And like I said, it is very, very important that we've not registered any major, you know, occurrences apart from what we saw in Kumasi. What we need to do, the question that must engage us is this: where do we go from here?
Exactly.
And that is what we are saying, that we need to go back to the institutions that we have. And like I said, this is for the first time we are witnessing an election in our country. This is going to be the 9th election. We've done 8. Of course, the sad thing is that with every election, if you look at all the reports that have come up from CDD and other scholars, they will tell you that the level of violence keeps increasing. And we witness it in Ayawaso, in Talensi, and all those things are there. So how do we guide, how can the system be guided by the increasing level of violence that has been associated with our previous election and address them to ensure that we don't allow these things to reoccur? And how do we do that? But the best thing to do that is that we need to allow the systems and the institutions that have been mandated, the civil societies, the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, the Peace Council, the Religious Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, for example, is a very credible institution. All of them can come in to ensure that the two political parties plus the EC are brought together on a table to look at the issues. The issue is about the issues. And if we allow emotions to subside and rather look at the issues critically, I'm sure that we can have a credible registrar, or we can have a solution to this problem. Even if it means in the interest of the country, the time that Electoral Commission is going to print the registrar is delayed perhaps by a week or even a month. There's nothing wrong with that.
But Dr. Tumi, let me ask a final question here. The EC has always maintained the fact that they are operating an open door policy, and this, you know, this IPAC meeting that happens almost every week is one sure way, if you have grievances or you have concerns, to put it across, and then all the political parties, even together with some external bodies, sits and address them to fine-tune the electoral process ahead of December, even though it is supposed to operate as an independent body. So they've not shut the door on anybody. And so it begs the question whether the intent of this demonstration really was to get the EC address matter they say they've already addressed, or like you yourself put it, is to galvanize the base of the NDC and say that we are battle ready for the elections.
Well, you and I, Elton, are not part of the internal strategy of the political parties, so we can only speculate. But from a very empirical standpoint, we can say that it could be part of their main strategic, outlets to ensure that it's testing whatever needs to be tested to as somebody will say, to ensure that they are battle ready, which is okay. But we are saying because look, what happened in Kumasi could have been replicated in other regions, and that's what we are looking for. And we don't want a situation where it becomes a possibility for these grievances to become the cornerstone to reject the outcome of the election. Suppose it doesn't go the way that NDC is looking for. But that's not what we are talking about. We're always speculating in all these scenarios. But what we are saying is that let us put the interest of the country, make it paramount. And in making the interest of the country paramount, whatever it needs to take to ensure that dialogue proceeds, dialogue prevails, negotiations prevail, so that at the end of the day, each political party is comfortable. Well, look, no political party or institution should take an entrenched position. Let's address the issues. They have said this, the grievances have been given. If it means the Electoral Commission, now that they have received the formal petition or grievance from the NDC, has to now assemble an independent commission. Let me use the word, independent commission or committee to look into these grievances. Vis-a-vis what the Electoral Commission is proposing or is saying, let that be, so that at the end of the day, transparency will prevail. And when we do that, the interest of the country, believe me, is what we are proposing that it should be upheld. I appreciate your time very much, Dr. There to me with the Frimpong Manso Institute. You're still watching the pulse here on Joy News. So the MPP is a very interesting party in this whole matter. The MPP is seeking to break the 8. Let me just, we'll take a short break. When we return, I'll bring in the national organizer of the MPP to get his reaction to what the brothers and sisters in the NDC are demanding, whether or not they will support the call for an independent audit of the voters register when we return from this break. Welcome back to the Pulse. Here on Joy News, we still continue our coverage of the NDC demonstration today, and of course the way forward as far as the party is concerned. We'll be speaking to the national organizer of the MPP, Henry Nana Boakye, but in the studio is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Bande. Mustafa, you're welcome. So a few things I'm just going through is the demand that you are making of the EC. First, permit an independent forensic audit for the voters register in this IT system. Second, convey stakeholders for collaboration. Third, agree to publish the findings of the forensic audit. Fourth, re-exhibit the voter register after the forensic audit. Review and correct or unauthorized transfer. We're also demanding that the EC adopts a revised timeline for electoral activities, and finally, institute accountability and integrity measures. The EC says all of these you are demanding. They've virtually done all of them. Okay. So they even questioned the real motive behind the demonstration today.
Yeah, I think that basically they are right to think that way. Because clearly they have not been prepared to do right by Ghanaians. Otherwise, in the midst of a compelling...
Just 1 second before you go through that, let me bring in the national organizer of the MPP, Nana Boakye, Henry Nana Boakye. He's in a meeting, so we'll do it very quick so he can join this meeting. So, Nana B, you're welcome to the Pulse. The NDC demands, they made 7 demands. Key amongst them is that the Electoral Commission should be able to open itself up for an external review of its activities, primarily to audit the voters register. Is this a call that, as a major stakeholder in the upcoming election, the MPP will support?
Thank you very much, Elton, and good afternoon to your listeners, your viewers. For me, and for the New Patriotic Party, this is an unnecessary call. This is a fruitless venture. Why do I say so? Look, the Electoral Commission is an independent body established by law. They are firmly rooted. They are well. And these processes we've gone through, why should we allow any independent private body comments on the third sector with a certain mandate to audit very fundamental of our electoral? Why? It's an unfortunate, yes, you can always point out something. But for anybody to even think or to even suggest that we should allow a certain body, and this is an independent body. Look, if the Electoral Commission itself, through its leadership, think that they would want to engage. You recall that even in 2016, when we were calling for new voter register, the Electoral Commission put up a committee. They listened to our concerns. We did a presentation. It was led by the then campaign manager, Chairman Magmenu, and at the end of the day, the committee said that no, there's no need for a completely new register. However, the mechanisms we have and inherent in our electoral process is the exhibition process. And they're of the view that it takes care of all of that. And then where you need to open this register at the various police stations or political parties where major stakeholders will have their agents there and vote with if somebody there to vote it. If there's some illegal transfer or illegal name or a particular name is not supposed to be there, and then the point it gets into the register, then all of us will work it out. So what has really happened? I mean, if you suggest that because of a certain unfortunate incident where the Electoral Commission itself said that yes, indeed we agree to the fact that somebody illegally transferred some person in Busika, and then even the presiding officer there, as I speak, is on suspension, is reprimanded for such an act. And because of that, it should be wholesale. You are claiming you have a certain evidence of over 200,000 illegal transfers.
About 243,000.
Exactly. You have been told to present these evidence. You are saying no, you are keeping it to your chest, but you are rather expecting the Electoral Commission to clean the register and then present the register again. The Electoral Commission says, yes, we have gone through the exhibition process. We are at the final stages of preparing for the final register. So we will certainly bring it up. But then what you are leading to, the issues you are raising, right, are quite severe. If you say that you have some 240,000 illegal transfers, it is a serious allegation. And he who alleges must prove, bring evidence. You say no, you will not. I mean, how can a political party behave in this manner?
But is the MPP not worried with such an allegation that if such a figure exists in the voters register and is questionable, the MPP...
But that is the more reason why, Elton, we are saying that bring this evidence, submit it. All of us will scrutinize. But if you say that you are keeping it to your chest, you are not, but you are expecting the Electoral Commission to do it. The Electoral Commission says that we have done the right thing. You are saying to have evidence of some illegal transfer. The Electoral Commission says, no, bring the evidence. You say no. Then I'm surprised why some voices are saying that we should allow because of this. Because of this. Because of allegations. Because somebody saying that he or a political party that have 200 illegal, they have not provided the evidence. An independent body to come and sit for the head of the Electoral Commission. To do what? To conduct some forensic audit. I don't get it. For me, the New Patriotic Party will strongly oppose and will fight any attempt by anybody to introduce anything that compromises the independence of the Electoral Commission. If the Electoral Commission, through its own operation, we need to engage a certain body to say that that's fine, that's their own. But to say that we want to compromise by some people are saying that they fear independent audit firm or audit entity to audit the Electoral Commission, especially the fundamental document in the register. I think that we are going to fight it, we are going to oppose it, and it will not happen.
But Dana, that suggests that as far as the MPP is concerned, you are okay with the state of the voters register ahead of the elections?
I have even received complaints from some of our members that, look, when we went, our names were wrongly spelled. When we went, our polling station were changed. Some few people called me, about 3. I said, yes, that is the more reason why we have the correction form. Take the correction form, fill it, indicate where there are problems. The Electoral Commission will fix it. That is the essence of the exhibition. In fact, the law knew that some of these things will happen. That is why we have these mechanisms in the law.
The NDC said that we should have another exhibition.
Oh, that is why I'm saying that, yes, if through this call, we've had this process before, when we were calling for a mass registration process. Yes, the the committee that sat on the matter eventually came out to say that there should be another exhibition exercise where all of us pay particular attention to. Maybe now the interest might have heightened. So normally people will not even pay attention to exhibition process, but now maybe because of this, interest are up. So let's all of us go through it. That is fine. That is the decision of the Electoral Commission. But nobody will decide for the Electoral Commission. Nobody will impose any whatsoever independent body, private entity to come and audit the work of the Electoral Commission. Then where lies the independence of the Electoral Commission as enshrined in the Constitution?
Thank you so much. Before I let you go, this morning we also reported a leaked document from the Office of the President, a survey conducted by the Director of Research at the Presidency, Dr. Isaac Owusu. And his conclusion is that currently, as we speak, as at the end of August, both the MPP and the NDC, all of you are doing 46.3%, giving indication that it is possible that the upcoming election may go into a runoff. Have you had time to go through this? And what's your reaction? Oh,
for me, the NDC, they have rather maintained that they have won this election and that they're even going to win by 56%. Then later on, they said that it was going to be 53%, and this was declared by their national chairman, Tamale. And we are of the view that we will not discount any polls, any research work. We rather work with it. We are working very hard, covering this. Vice President actively on the ground is running this. Vice President and Honorable President actively on the ground. Their spouses are working so hard. Is doing so much well. This our point. I know this second also being on the ground, and we are winning. I can tell you that look, nobody can rig the elections for any political party. So this call or this narrative by the NDC to suggest that the Electoral Commission sends the MPP is false. Look, nobody. No, we are going to win this election. And we'll win based on our track record, based on our performance. We have pushed development down the people. And I've moved around, and people are, yes, they are challenging. I would admit, but I'm telling you, people are with this company. And they are going to vote for based on our track record. Nobody can bring the election to you.
All right.
Absolutely nobody.
I appreciate your time. I can let you go back to your meeting. Henry Nana Boache is the national organizer of the MPP. Let me come back to the studio. Mustafa Bande. Mustafa, I'll give you the opportunity to respond to this survey from the Office of the President. But before you do that, the question about the 243,000 names, illegal transfers, and then the call for you to make available whatever evidence you have so that it can aid the Electoral Commission in their investigation. Why is it so difficult for you to make this available?
Let me state, first of all, that I was listening to the national organizer of MPP, and it's a boring interview because it's a representation of double standards, people who do away with the principles for convenience. Look, the current electoral commissioner today was serving under IEA in 2016. Her words were such that there was a need at the time.
As you co-founded it.
Yeah, MPP was calling for an audit. I believe that they were doing so because they had some legitimate concerns, presumptive concerns that should be addressed. And that for you being in opposition, it is your responsibility to be a vanguard of the process. Because of the belief and the suspicion that government may abuse incumbency.
Right.
So you have a duty to ensure that every process leading into the election is watertight. And so MPP's call in 2016 was legitimate. It was opposed by the party NDC in government at the time. Today, and that audit came to pass. We did an audit and we had a clear system of election and there was a peaceful election. Today, the General Secretary of the MPP, the National Organizer of the MPP are against our call. Now, what is even more compelling is the fact that we are not just making presumptions, but we've given compelling practical evidence, existing organic evidence to the extent that the current voters' register have been manipulated. A typical example is the Pusiga situation. The Electoral Commission acted swiftly. They said they have punished the individual concerned, so they subscribed to the existence of discrepancies as a result of illegal criminal manipulation of the voters' register. But again, if you walk through logics of these problems leading to the said manipulation, you come to the conclusion that, one, it's impossible for a district officer to manipulate headquarters data. Because on regional basis, in fact, a district officer from Northern region cannot go close to the database of Upper East region.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense, it's dishonest, it's lie, it's trashable to say that you have punished a district officer. If we audit that crime, the headquarters of the Electoral Commission's IT department will have a question to answer. That is one. Two, we have also shown that quite apart from what has happened there are some names that have been deleted. The Electoral Commission admits, but says that, even before our complaints, they are prepared to do a cleanup of the register, which is a good call.
Right.
Okay. And so our requisition of an emergency IPAC meeting, hoping that the MPP, NDC, other political parties who are stakeholders in this election, were going to sit around to look at the issues that arrived so that we can deal with them. In that meeting, the Electoral Commission, even before the meeting, the Electoral Commission ran to organize a press conference, told Ghanaians that the voters' register is robust and clean. And in fact, in the meeting, they said that they had already cleaned the register.
But also admitted to mistakes that possibly could happen.
They call it honest mistakes. Mistakes of fraudulent nature, criminal nature, cannot be honest mistakes when you have reprimanded somebody. So going forward, the Electoral Commission said to us that, they have already cleaned the register. The register is currently devoid of all the material issues that we are presenting, even though they admit that the issues are very germane to the register. And then we say, okay, voila, if that is the conversation, thank you for doing your work. Then we don't need to go over all of the frivolities frivolous evidence as the MPP that we are holding. So bring us the new version
of the register,
of the post exhibition cleanup that you have done. They said, bring us a hard drive. We're giving them the hard drive. Till today, they haven't been able to provide that register. We have also demonstrated that so far, some members of the Electoral Commission are not just known faces within MPP. They are MPP, card-bearing MPP. But that is not a problem. We expect that everyone that sits on a commission which constitutionally requires that commission to be independent must insulate himself from political influence.
I spoke about the 243,000.
Okay.
And they claim that you are here to present the EC with
with
the evidence
if you said that
needed for them to undertake whatever.
If you said that you have cleaned the register, what presupposes that you would have cleaned the register, including the 250,000 ghost names.
The EC said you've been very reluctant in providing.
No, we are not. EC will not allow us to do their job. EC must be doing their work. And EC has given you and I the assurance that it has done its work. Let's disregard our demonstration today. But critical to our demonstration, we have further reinforced peacefully our call for an audit of the register. One, to avert altercations, to avert confusion, to avert chaos. No Ghanaian must suffer because he or she is going to vote. No Ghanaian. Absolutely. No Ghanaian from the MPP or NDC must fall because of electoral dispute.
But Mustafa, why don't you help the EC here? I mean, for example, give us the names of these illegal transfers.
The EC,
where they were and where they've been transferred
in 2016.
The electoral ID number so that the EC can isolate these names and then subject them to
in 2016, when the MPP called for an audit, they alleged that there were some ghost names, some foreigners on the voters' register. Remember, Matopoko Prempe even insulted Voltairean, the current trade minister, Tahiru. Ketia. He even insulted the people of Volta region. The question was not bring us the information. The question was that let's try and examine the issues. Let's take an action to consider the concerns and look at it. If there's something to do about it, if there's nothing to do about it, it is what it is.
So you want the EC to open a booth before you provide whatever you have?
No, that is not a conversation. Nobody told MPP in 2016 that bring us names. A committee was set up. There was a review of the process. Came out with a finding that the register was what? Reliable and fit for purpose. All the concerns raised by the NPP were considered and cured before the election. Today, we are rather giving you compelling evidence of fraud, criminality, illegal transfer out of a central database, organic, fresh, evidence, clear. We've given you that evidence. You said that, oh, you are even curing that criminality with exhibition that we have done. And you assured us that as we speak, you have finished even cleaning the register. So therefore, NDC, bring me your hard drive. I'll give you the fit for purpose register. We've given you that hard drive. Let the Electoral Commission bring what they have done. If we review that and we still see some anomaly, we'll point it out.
So after today, what's next? I mean, you've presented your petition.
Today is a very
We're waiting to hear from them
demonstration.
officially. After today, what's next for the NDC?
Before I answer that, I've heard some frivolous remark from the national organizer of the NPP that they will resist any attempt
to allow an external body to interfere in the work of an independent body.
Did the NDC call for an external body? We said there should be an audit. Did we call for an external body? So these are the people who speak, and when they speak and we react, then it becomes something. We didn't appoint an organization to do an audit. We are calling for an audit. We can't usurp the powers of the
Who do you think should undertake that audit?
We cannot usurp to be seemingly interfering with the powers of the commission.
So who should do
So
that?
therefore, that is why
the Electoral Commission
these matters are legitimately addressable to the corridors of the Electoral Commission out of respect, constitutionally. Because if you have a problem with the commission, you go back to the commission. But our voice must accompany the voice of Ghanaians back to the corridors of the commission to say that this is what we have done and this is what we feel we should do. We are stakeholders in the process. You don't say that you resist. How did Nanabi get to know that a foreign entity will be auditing the voters' register? How did he get to know? So it's frivolous.
So ask about what's next after today.
What is next today is that we will do each other a good. If the Electoral Commission hate to cancel.
And if they don't?
You see, I believe that when knowledge fails you, Elton, wisdom must be a guide. What is ahead of us? The stakes are very high. And so, because we don't need to cut off a head of a commissioner to do an audit, we are not asking for even the MPP appointed commissioners to resign. We are not even asking President Akufo-Addo's friend, his best friends in UK's son, Kwachi, to resign. All we are asking for is an audit. We should audit and allay the fear of everyone. Beyond this, I think that Jin Mensah and Bosman Asare would have been directing the anger of Ghanaians away from the government, away from the criminalities, away from the pain and the poverty to themselves. Because you see, people believe that coup d'etats are not important again, and I will not subscribe to that. People believe that, in fact, even civil unrest is not good for anybody in our country, because this is our country. Now, the only option is a democratic process. If you don't give room for human rights views to be respected, what you do is that you then tell Ghanaians to defend themselves. Because people are waiting to vote out this government out of pain. If you create room for us to go an election where a criminally minded officer as the one in Pusiga can manipulate the process and choose a president for us. What you have created is war.
Let me ask just two quick questions so that I can let you go. You're already tired. So your flag bearer, the beneficiary of this exercise, was not there. Is there a reason why he was not part of the demonstration today?
I'm a national officer, Deputy General Secretary in charge of operation. I was there. Mm-hmm. The de facto leader of the party, Honorable Johnson Asidun Ketia, was there. The General Secretary of the party was there. In fact, the national organizer led the Ashanti Regional demonstration.
Yeah, I know. All of them were there. Why wasn't John Mahama there?
Exactly. Look, you don't need John Mahama's presence to let Ghanaians understand the issues. Today, what we have driven home is that, one, we've led a peaceful nationwide demonstration devoid of violence, devoid of destruction.
Apart from some few skirmishes we witnessed.
Well, I mean, even the police expected some of the skirmishes, because if you look at the anger of Ghanaians, we have comported and contained the anger and how people intended to do. So, having done this, you need a flag bearer to come and do what? He doesn't have to be here. What we have done is to tell the whole world that potentially the Electoral Commission can escalate our situation in Ghana. We have told the world that this is our case. An audit in every civilized environment, an audit can be done. An audit is not done because you so believe in what you suspect. An audit can be done because you have to keep all stakeholders up to date with trust.
Of course.
So you don't need a flag bearer. The flag bearer is on campaign.
I get it. Finally, before you go, I asked Nanabi about this survey that came from the Office of the President, undertaken by Director of Research at the Presidency, Dr. Isaac Owusu. Before he was elected at the University of Ghana, he did a lot of surveys. Now, in his conclusion, in the survey that we are told was commissioned by the presidency to understand and assess how their candidate is doing, concludes that currently, as at the end of August, all the political parties, the leading members, MPP, NDC, the flag bearers, all doing 46.3%, raising the possibility of a runoff after December 7th. What is your reaction to this?
First and foremost, I haven't seen the references of the research. I have not read the details of the research.
28,000 people interviewed across the 276
I do also know that the BNI did a very good work. They've done it before. They've projected that Napo was going to be nominated.
Right.
He got nominated and he got endorsement. The BNI did a report, a work, detailed work, that suggests that Ghanaians are not going to vote for this government. I would have wished that a BNI, which they call the NIB
now,
could be allowed to publish that report in addition to what have been done from the presidency so that we can peruse. The national security have briefed the president, and I am privy to know that the people of Ghana are not going to vote for the government. And I know that. If the government in power, after so-called one village, one dam, one district, one factory, Agenda 111, planting for food and jobs, $1 million, one constituency, and all NAPCO and all of that, you claim you have done all of this. They claim Ghanaians are satisfied. In the history of this country, from the time of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, no president have developed Ghana like. If you are still battling with incompetent NDC at 46.what%?
3.
2.5 months to elect, it means you have lost. What it means is that you have lost. You've lost, you've been rejected. If they were saying that they were even doing 55%, then I will be a bit scared.
It doesn't scare you at all.
No. What it means is that you have lost. Because, look, they have normalized corruption. They have normalized opulent behaviors. They have normalized everything unthinkable in governance. They have abused state institutions. They've collapsed companies. Businesses are folding up. Investor confidence is dead. Of course, what else will you expect? What will this government do? Can we afford to contain the pain of this government?
What is your own survey telling you?
My own survey is that there will be a one-touch election. That election has the tendency of a bit of violence because the MPP is currently training people in all security installations.
I guess you're also doing the same for your own party security.
No, we are ready. We are battle ready. MDC is battle ready. I'm telling you. Take it from me.
Yeah, so all of you are doing the same.
The NDC is battle ready. They should train the people from Russia. When they train the others from the 2020 people through Magdan and Captain Koda, they took them to South Africa, trained them, they killed 8 people, only 8 people. If they are training them in Ghana...
You are talking about the victims of the last...
Yeah, no, so they took their boys to South Africa and trained them to come and kill NDC members. They killed only 8. We are not going into...
This is not something we can verify.
We are not going into... You are here and the interior minister is always threatening you, then we are not going into the election believing that someone should be violent. No. But we are not also going into an election where one man will double vote, or some person that is not a Ghanaian will be sent in the queue coming to vote. It won't happen. So the election will be peaceful, but of course there will be some difficulties. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to win the election because the NDC is more prepared, fortified, ready, deliberate and intentional about winning the 2024 election. And that is going to happen. Look, the MPP, recently the General Secretary, my senior brother, or my brother Kuria, have said that the appointees of the president are not on the ground. They are not everywhere. The national organizer of the MPP is following their running mate and making him dance around.
But it's all part,
is that the work
part of the campaign?
Oh, no. I'm a deputy general secretary. I don't follow running mate.
Perhaps that is the party structures.
Oh, no, the party structure with the MPP and NDC is the same, apart from the fact that they appoint their deputies. The organizer of the MPP is not on the ground. The general secretary of the MPP is not on the ground. The national chairman of the MP, look, they are saturated. They are fed up with the kind of mismanagement happening in the government. So you can't win by sitting down. You can't win by leaving your job, but we are on the ground. So our fighting skills are different. We believe that we are moving. Look, today, the police that...
We've got just 30 seconds to go.
The police that protected the protest today were very professional, very cooperative. When I say that this government is going into an election where it doesn't have the support of the security services, that is what it means. They don't have the support of the security.
The police responsibility was to provide security.
The police people are human beings.
What they do.
No, they are human beings. They are human beings.
How does that suggest that?
The police see human beings. They see what is wrong. They see what is right. And look, most of them...
They only discharge their professional duties.
Most of them will say, we are with you. We are with you in 2025.
is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. We'll take a short break and return with more here on The Pulse. You're welcome back, and before we go, government engagement with various stakeholders is underway with the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining boycotting the event. Organized labor, however, resolved to be part, and so they are. That meeting is behind closed doors, and we are closely monitoring it. In the studio with us is Erastus Aridonko, my colleague, who has been revealing the massive devastation in his report. We have one such report for you. Now, though, let's take you live to the Alisa Hotel, where the government team is meeting with the stakeholders. And James Abeji is my man on the base. So, James, we understand that the National Security Minister, together with the other members named in this government committee, they are meeting the interest groups. So, TUC earlier, they didn't want to go, now they are part. So, tell us what is happening. Right, so we've got a report. We'll bring that to you, and then we can speak to James and Erastus.
In a video that went viral on social media, the new Patriotic Party's parliamentary aspirant for Amenfi East constituency in the Western region, Ernest Frimpong, is seen at a forum with individuals believed to be illegal miners, allegedly advising them to resist military officers who attempt to forcefully remove them.
Too much but too control my and track ideas or oh yes, 2024. So my petrol or my petrol and the authority on the age you must have children. Jeffrey said, you don't know where you got a moment to one, or also here they got you the tingle. I said,
our quest to find out the state of Galamsey in the area led us to the town of Mansour Menfi. The road leading to the town is lined by illegal mining sites, ravaging wetlands in the town. Even more disturbing is this illegal mining activity happening in the vicinity of the Mansour Memfi DA Junior High School. Excavators are busily digging behind the school, almost eating into the school's football park.
This is a Galamsey site, and you can see active mining going on currently. Where I'm standing is the school park of the Mansour Memfi District Assembly Basic School. Behind me are the school buildings, and this is where Galamsey is happening in broad daylight.
This gentleman, identified as Paul Kwabena Mensah, who claimed ownership of the illegal mining site, says they have permission to mine and use part of the proceeds to desilt the wetlands.
We experienced flooding because the base of the stream is too narrow, so they gave it to us as a contract to desilt and expand its flow path. We are using the opportunity to look for gold because the work is cost intensive and we need to watch for gold to defray the cost.
We witnessed other unauthorized mining activities in the town close to the main road. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Mansour Memfi, Western Region.
So Erastus is here with me, so but before I talk to him, let me take you live to the Lisa Hotel, and James Aveji is there. So James, is the meeting over or still ongoing?
Elton, the meeting is still ongoing, a closed-door meeting, media not allowed in there, but we've been pitch camping around the facility. Before we came on air, I saw the National Security Minister himself, Albert Kandapa, on telephone, coming out of the meeting and going back in. We hanging around, you hear some sort of applause and Joe boys in there, which would indicate that the pressure groups are putting in their requests and maybe some sort of consensus being arrived here and there or otherwise, but we're still hanging around to know what the outcome of that meeting would be. We know that earlier, organized labor as well as the coalition against Galamsey, media coalition against Galamsey, have indicated that they will not take part in that meeting. The new turn of event is that organized labor is currently in there. The TUC held a meeting ahead of this stakeholder meeting amongst leadership. And they told us yesterday that the outcome of their internal meeting will determine whether they will partake in what is currently happening. When I spoke with the TUC General Secretary Joshua Ansah, he said that leadership has agreed to engage government, for which reason they are in that meeting. I saw the GMA as well as the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association also making their way in there before the meeting started. And so it is currently ongoing between the government ad hoc committee as well as the pressure groups as well as the TUC. They say that government needs to take a drastic measure by end of this month to avoid any form of labor agitation. And so we're waiting to see what the outcomes would be, whether exactly what they have put on the negotiation table and what a government view is on about that, Elton.
All right, thank you very much, James. So we'll come back to you if there's any development on this matter. The meeting is still ongoing at the Alisa Hotel, but Erastus is here with me. So Erastus, you've been very busy in the last few weeks. The Western region, the Eastern region, the Ashanti region, you've been virtually everywhere. I mean, from what you've seen, I don't even know the question to ask whether we have a handle on or the matter is just getting out of hand.
I'm even surprised that we are still meeting and talking at this time. But now we should be moving into action, looking at the extent of illegal mining and the increased nature of it across the country. What we are seeing across the country is a worse situation people mining with impunity almost everywhere, along main roads, along rivers, streams, everywhere, forest reserves.
And all your runs, you didn't come across maybe a task force, whether from the Forestry Commission, whether from the district assemblies, whether from the Regional Security Council, sort of monitoring even what is going on and to say that we are watching what you are doing?
I can tell you on authority that there is no fight at the moment. And even the security agencies, when you speak with the forest guards on the ground, they've been told not to fight anybody who is mining anywhere. So that is why you find people mining close to main roads with a police barrier just some few meters ahead, and nobody is raising any alarm as if it's a normal thing that is going on. But this is a nature crime, which is punishable by years imprisonment. And
you will say these are mining groups that are mining illegally or hiding behind small-scale mining to undertake this wanton destruction of the environment?
When people talk about small-scale mining, I don't know the difference now. Because currently, I'm challenging anybody who says he's doing legitimate small-scale mining to come up with his or her location and let's check. I have not seen any legitimate small-scale mining license anywhere. In fact, we are coming up with reports across the country. We've been going around, and there's one on Atrunsu, which is close to Sefwibekwai.
Right.
And you find people who have taken licenses to do community mining. And when you look at their location at the moment, mining close to the Atrunsu stream, and we check their geolocations on the license. And in fact, where they are mining is totally far away from where they've been licensed to mine. So there's that impunity going on all over. And the evidence is what we are seeing Anlo Beach, Shama, Ankubra Town, the estuaries, and you see the level of pollution from the Pra and Ankubra going into the sea along that line. And mind you, we are seeing diseases. There is silicosis, the hardening of lungs, where young people are dying from it. If you go to Komfanoche, the respiratory unit, you find young people who are on oxygen.
Professor Sampene's work exposes all of these.
Yes, people are dying. It's real. It's not a talk shop. People are dying out of it. And there are people...
But the people themselves, are they concerned about the kind of life they've been subjected to?
Many of them do not know what is hitting them. They don't even believe.
But they themselves, are they part of what is happening? Are they part of are they participating in illegal mining?
Many of them are participating in it. It's almost becoming a norm that people are now believing that that's the only thing they can do to make money. There are people who genuinely will not want to sacrifice anything for it. They know the effects. We have been doing community outreach programs on educating people about diseases coming out of illegal mining. There are some who don't even believe it when you show them the evidence. And
so it's very far away from them.
Yeah. You look at the women who are using the polluted Pra River after settling it with alum. They are using it to cook acheke for local consumption. And when you tell them the truth that though you have settled the water,
you think you've boiled it, and you think everything
you still have heavy metals in there, and they don't believe you.
Also, I have just 2 minutes ago, but I'm curious to know. I mean, over the weekend, when the Minerals Commission boss was on this program on Newsfire, he says places like Taka, he was making the point why government cannot ban illegal mining as of now. He said places like Takwa, some parts of the Upper East region where mining is taking place, people are doing underground mining. Such people are not causing any harm to
I heard him talk about Dakrupe and the other areas. Has he told you how we are poisoning the underground water as well? Has he quantified that? Has he done the cost analysis to the economy concerning public health? What that costs the economy? Have we done the analysis of the cost of environmental degradation to the economy? Have we done all those checks and quantified it? Then we can compare to the amount of revenue we are getting from mining. And I tell you, you will see that the difference is not too much.
So this new work, when is it coming out?
The areas that we've visited, we've done quite a lot. And on a daily basis, we'll be giving you more. There is an update on the Tano River. After we did our report, there are still people who are putting mining residue in it as Samra Boy. That will be coming up. So there's a lot coming up. We are still touring, and we'll be bringing our viewers and our listeners up to date.
And of course, that's the GJ Journalist of the Year, Erastus Aridonko. Hopefully, we'll be picking it up again this year. But that's our show for today. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope is profitable. My name is Elton Robbie. Have a good evening.